George Washington, April 30th, 1789 and March 4th, 1793. Washington's first inauguration took place in New York City, where he became the first president of the United States. He added the phrase, "So help me God," to the oath of office, establishing a tradition that continues today. His second inauguration was marked by a brief address of only 135 words, emphasizing humility. John Adams, March 4th, 1707. Adams was the first president to be inaugurated in Philadelphia. This inauguration represented a peaceful transfer of power from one political party to another, setting a precedent for future transitions. Thomas Jefferson, March 4th, 1801 and March 4th, 1805. Jefferson's first inauguration was the first to take place in Washington, D.C. He famously walked to the ceremony, promoting a sense of simplicity and accessibility. His second inauguration included an inaugural parade, which has since become a tradition. James Madison, March 4th, 1809 and March 4th, 1813. Dolly Madison hosted the first inaugural ball during her husband's presidency, marking the beginning of a tradition that would continue for future presidents. James Monroe, March 4th, 1817 and March 5th, 1821. Monroe's second inauguration was held on March 5th due to March 4th falling on a Sunday. This transition highlighted the flexibility of the inaugural schedule based on religious observance. John Quincy Adams, March 4th, 1825. Adams took his oath on a book of constitutional law instead of a Bible, reflecting his belief in secular governance. This choice sparked debates about the role of religion in government. Andrew Jackson, March 4th, 1829 and March 4th, 1833. Jackson's first inauguration attracted an unprecedented crowd of supporters who celebrated at the White House afterward. The event turned chaotic as guests damaged property in what became known as the inaugural mob. Martin Van Buren, March 4th, 1837. Van Buren was the first president born as a U.S. citizen to be inaugurated. His presidency marked a significant shift in American political culture. William Henry Harrison, March 4th, 1841. Harrison delivered the longest inaugural address in history at over 2 hours long. Unfortunately, he contracted pneumonia shortly after and died just 1 month into his presidency. John Tyler, April 6, 1800. Tyler assumed the presidency after Harrison's death and was sworn in without any formal ceremony. This set a precedent for future vice presidents stepping up under similar circumstances. James K. Polk, March 4, 1845. Polk's inauguration was notable for being the first reported by telegraph, marking an important moment in communication technology during political events. Zachary Taylor, March 5, 1849. Taylor's inauguration was delayed by 1 day due to March 4th falling on a Sunday. He took office amidst growing tensions over slavery. Millard Fillmore, July 10, 1850. Fillmore was sworn in after Taylor's death with little fanfare. There was no formal ceremony as he took over mid-term. Franklin Pierce, March 4, 1853. Pierce affirmed rather than swore his oath of office. His presidency faced challenges related to sectional tensions leading up to the Civil War. James Buchanan, March 4, 1800. Buchanan's inauguration is notable for being one of the first documented through photography, capturing this significant moment in American history. Abraham Lincoln, March 4, 1861 and March 4, 1865. Lincoln's first inauguration included African Americans in the parade for the first time. His second inauguration took place during the Civil War and featured an address focused on healing and unity. Andrew Johnson, April 15, 1865. Johnson was sworn in hastily after Lincoln's assassination. His inauguration lacked much ceremony due to the national mourning period. Ulysses S. Grant, March 4, 1869 and March 4, 1873. At Grant's first inaugural ball, attendees experienced chaos as many coats were stolen due to a mix-up at coat checks. Rutherford B. Hayes, March 5, 1877. Hayes was sworn in privately on March 3 due to election controversies that led to disputes about his legitimacy as president. James A. Garfield, March 4, 1881. Garfield's mother attended his inauguration, the first time a sitting president's mother was present at such an event. Chester A. Arthur, September 20, 1881. Arthur was sworn in privately after Garfield's assassination. This marked a somber transition during a turbulent time in American politics. Grover Cleveland, March 4, 1885 and March 4, 1893. Cleveland is unique for serving 2 non-consecutive terms as president. His second inauguration came amidst economic turmoil. Benjamin Harrison, March 4, 1889. Harrison's inauguration marked the first time it was recorded on phonograph, a sign of advancing technology capturing historical moments. William McKinley, March 4, 1807 and September 14, 1901. McKinley's first inauguration was filmed for posterity. His second came after his assassination while he was still in office. Theodore Roosevelt, September 14, 1901 and March 1905. Roosevelt became president after McKinley's assassination. He took his oath at Buffalo's Ansley Wilcox House, an informal setting compared to traditional ceremonies. William Howard Taft, March 4, 1909. Taft's inauguration marked the last held inside the Senate chamber before moving outdoors for future ceremonies. Woodrow Wilson, March 4, 1913 and March 5, 1917. Wilson's first inauguration featured women marching in the parade, a significant moment reflecting changing social norms during this period. Warren G. Harding, March of 1921. Harding rode to his inauguration in an automobile, a sign of modernity compared to previous horse-drawn carriages used by earlier presidents. Calvin Coolidge, August 3, 1923 and March 1925. Coolidge took his oath by lamplight from his father after Harding's death. This informal setting emphasized personal connection over pomp. Herbert Hoover, March 1929. Hoover used a Quaker Bible for his swearing-in ceremony, an emblematic gesture reflecting his Quaker faith during this significant moment. Franklin D. Roosevelt, March of 1933, January 20, 1937, January 20, 1941, January 20, 1945. FDR is unique for being sworn in 4 times. His first inauguration occurred during the Great Depression, with promises of recovery through bold action. Harry S. Truman, April 12, 1945, January 20, 1949. Truman's second inauguration became notable as it was televised for millions across America, ushering in a new era of media coverage for political events. Dwight D. Eisenhower, January 20, 1953, January 21, 1957. Eisenhower broke tradition by reciting his own prayer after taking office, a personal touch that resonated with many Americans at that time. John F. Kennedy, January 20, 1961. Kennedy's inaugural address famously included, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country," inspiring generations with its call to service. Lyndon B. Johnson, November 22, 1963, January 20, 1985. Johnson was sworn in aboard Air Force One shortly after Kennedy's assassination, an unprecedented moment that underscored national tragedy transitioning into leadership continuity. Richard Nixon, January 20, 1969, January 20, 1973. Nixon's first inaugural ceremony marked the beginning of his presidency amid Vietnam War tensions. He famously declared, "The greatest honor history can bestow is that of peacemaker." Gerald Ford, August 9 to 94. Ford assumed office following Nixon's resignation amid Watergate scandal. His swearing-in symbolized healing during turbulent political times for America post-scandal era. Jimmy Carter, January 20, 1977. Carter walked from Capitol Hill to the White House, a symbolic gesture emphasizing humility and connection with everyday citizens during his presidency launch event. Ronald Reagan, January 20 to 1981, January 21, 1985. Reagan's second inauguration faced extreme cold temperatures, leading it indoors, a rare occurrence reminiscent of past inaugurations affected by weather conditions throughout history. George H.W. Bush, January 20, 1989. Bush celebrated America's bicentennial with themes emphasizing unity while honoring previous administrations' legacies during his inaugural address, a call for bipartisan cooperation moving forward into new governance era ahead. Bill Clinton, January 20, 1993, January 20, 1997. Clinton's first inaugural ceremony included performances from prominent artists like Aretha Franklin, highlighting cultural significance alongside political celebrations marking transitions between presidencies. George W. Bush, January 2001, January 20, 2005. Bush faced heightened security measures following September 11 attacks during both inaugurations, reflecting national concerns regarding safety while emphasizing resilience against adversity. Barack Obama, January 20, 2009, January 21, 2000. Obama made history as America's first African-American president inaugurated amid record attendance, over 2 million people gathering on National Mall celebrating this monumental achievement. Donald Trump, January 20th, 2017, and January 20th, 2025. Oldest president inaugurated for a first term at the age of 70 years and 220 days. Oldest president inaugurated for second term at the age of 8 years and a month. First president to be inaugurated for a second, non-consecutive term since Grover Cleveland. Joe Biden. January 20th, 2021. Oldest president inaugurated for the first term after Trump at the age of 78 years and 2 months. Ceremony held during COVID-19 pandemic with limited attendance. Like and subscribe for more interesting videos.